crafty friends, it's Jess from jesscrafts.com, and today I'm going to share a review and a tutorial with you. I am sharing the Amazepens, which are available on Amazon, and they are a gel ink pen. This video was sponsored by Amazepens. They sent me the pens to review and to share with you. And I'm going to be giving you, of course, though, my honest opinion. You'll see me use them right on camera, so you'll know exactly how they work. And the Amazepens come in a 24 pack with 12 glitter, so half glitter, 6 neon, and 6 pastel gel pens. And they send you a digital file with these mandalas in them as well for you to color. These pens are great for a variety of purposes. If you are really into the adult coloring book craze, then these will be perfect for your coloring books, but I can see using them on a lot of crafting products. I'm going to start by just sort of showing you the pens and then move on to the project and particularly highlight what I like about these pens and why I will be using them in my crafting. So here I just pulled out one of the neon pens and I'm writing with it so you can see how it flows. This is at about 2 times speed, and so you do have to write slowly, which is pretty typical for gel pens. And I am finding that they aren't really skipping, but again, I'm writing slowly as is generally recommended for them, and you want to use a light hand. If you press too hard, you're more likely to get skipping. I do think that for some people that might be a little bit frustrating if they like to sort of jot notes quickly, but I see these more as like a project or coloring pen than a regular note jotting pen, for example. I was pretty curious to see how the white would look on black. As you know, we're always on the search for a great white gel pen. And so here I'm showing the white gel pen right out of the package so that you can tell how well it works immediately and that it's not one of those ones that you have to get started in any way or something like that. I know that a lot of times with gel pens, we feel like over time they sort of decrease in their quality, and it might be because you're storing them in the wrong way. They're supposed to be stored tip down so that the ink stays in the tip, kind of like some people recommend ink pads be stored with the felt pad downward facing so that the ink stays at the top of the surface. I think that's recommended for pigment ink pads most of all. I do think that it would be better to have a brighter white because it doesn't write particularly vibrant on the black paper. But this is not a specialized white gel pen. It's, part of a large pack at a really reasonable price. And to get a really super high quality white gel pen, they usually retail for a couple dollars a piece, where this retails for less than $1 a pen. What I noticed is that the neons do not work at all on black paper. As you see, it fades quite a bit right into the paper and you can't read it. But the pastels do show up on black paper. However, maybe not in their true vibrancy like they'd show up on white paper, but just something so that you can kind of see how they would work. I did find that in order to get a better ink coverage, it was important to hold my pen at less of an angle. So if you're looking for slightly better coverage, that would be my one recommendation. Now for today's video, I'm going to focus on the glitter pens because when I started using these Amazepens, what really got me was the glitter, because I have paid for very expensive glitter pens, such as the Wink of Stella pens, that have given me less good coverage and less glitter than these pens. And I was really, really impressed with how glittery and shimmery these pens are, and I will be using them on my holiday cards, and I will be using them in place of Wink of Stella in some situations. Now they don't have a clear, and Wink of Stella has a clear, but I have used the red Wink of Stella and found that it did not work as well. So I have dry embossed with an embossing folder this wood grain background, and in the debossed area, so the areas that are flat, I'm adding some of this gold gel pen to get a lot of shimmer on that wood grain card base, so that way I get the overall shimmer look. And as I continue working with the card, you'll see as it turns in the light how much interest and dimension that added to that embossed background. I'm working with the Making Frosty Friends stamp set from Lawn Fawn and building a little snowman here. The reason I chose to build a snowman is because I'll be coloring exclusively with the Amazepens today, and so I didn't want to have to color in a large critter, as that might be a little bit more difficult or time consuming with these, as they do have a fine tip, but you certainly can do it and it looks really neat. However, I want to focus on some of the details here, like the hat and scarf. And what's nice about the Making Frosty Friends is it's sort of like a build-in image, and so I can choose to add the buttons or other details or like the little heart on them or keep them off. It's up to you. So that's a fun set from Lawn Fawn. And I have the die cut, so I've cut out the snowman shape as well as the hats and scarves. I'm going to be coloring with the glitter pens and adding an overall shimmer everywhere. Like I said, the gel pens are excellent for a variety of surfaces and purposes, but they do take a little bit of time to cover a surface because they have a 0.8 to 1 millimeter tip, which is not very wide, and so right now it's about 3 times the actual speed of my coloring, and so it does take a little bit more time to color things. I imagine that it would be particularly good for the adult coloring books because in those times you're really just trying to relax and enjoy the coloring and take your time, whereas with card making I do find myself in a rush sometimes. Now when you are coloring with the pens, you do want to be aware of your pen strokes as they are going to show up. So if you are going side to side or straight up and down, you'll be able to notice that. And it's not a big deal, but you just might want to keep that in mind if you like all of your pen strokes going the same way, to think about that as you color. It kind of reminds me of colored pencil in that way, where you can really see the strokes, whereas with like Copic markers, those strokes sort of disappear. I also would recommend being careful that you aren't touching where you just colored with the gel pens, since they do take a little bit of time to dry. I can definitely see myself using these glitter pens on a variety of cards because of that really solid glitter coverage there, and when I start assembling the card I'll be able to hold it in the light and you can really see how it hits off of there. I have found that a lot of products that offer that level of glitter really get glitter all over you, and I did not have nearly as much of a problem with that. Like I can handle these pieces that are glittered and still touch my white snowman without getting a transfer. So once they're dry, they're pretty permanent. And I have assembled my little scene. I'm going to take that sentiment and stretch it across. And I've also just stamped that with my favorite things, Black Licorice Hybrid ink. And I'm trimming off the edges. And since there is so much interest with the glitter, I am going to keep the card relatively simple and really let that fun background stand out. And here you can see how much shine is really caught there. So that is it for my card and project today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in finding out more about these pens, you can check the link in the video description below. Thanks once again to Amazepens for sponsoring this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.